My cabbages! Low, man. Ah, my cabbages!
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
しっかり足を踏み出して、体重を移動しながら腰をひねり、肩に力を伝えて、
What is up, everybody? It is, of course, your boy, Andrew Esquire, in this Illegal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. We're back at the main studio in Bangkok, and today we've got some Somali memes, some new stuff. You're seeing a new one there that was gifted by a good supporter who decided to draft that new one up. The memes are flowing today. So we've got some of that. We've got a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about the Discord meltdown and some of the fallback from that. We're also going to get into some other Nuisance streamer topics. There's been some folks coming here in Thailand. Obviously not Johnny Somali. He can't travel. But some of his Nuisance streamer bros, including some of the ones we've talked about in Japan that have caused a nuisance there. So we're going to talk about that today. Show us a video of those guys acting a fool in Thailand. Once again, it's a problem, not just of Johnny Somali, but of nuisance streamers around the world, and particularly in Asia. So we're going to show that today. And we're going to go over, I guess I got a little info on, I want to talk about this Japanese ESTA system, which I think will be helpful in some ways, but also not completely stop nuisance streamers. And then we also have a little bit of video from Korea, which kind of shows they're closely watching what's happening and closely watching my coverage and relating it out to the Korean audience. And a lot of people are watching this. A lot of people are getting this information. So that's all good stuff, but more than good, it's good to be back. It's good to be here with all you guys today. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for bearing with the scuff. Once again, every time I step back in my main studio, something gets scuffed. Today, it was the microphone, which I had to reset everything and restart everything to get the mic to work. Stuff happens, but it's good to be back in here today. Guys, like the video. We have to counteract the 2 dislikes that Johnny and Ramsey, Ramsey and Hank, I confused them. They're very interchangeable, Hank and Ramsey. That the 2 dislikes that they put on the channel have to be outweighed by thousands of likes on the video. So please smash a like on the video. This show will probably not have a fast facts. I may try to make like a little summary of some of the Thai stuff, or maybe just rely on a clip. We'll see how it turns out at the end. So this one will probably not have a fast facts, but I know that you guys have been loving the fast facts versions, the condensed summary. So those are going to keep coming for most of the substantive stuff, particularly the Johnny Somali updates. So, stay tuned on that sort of stuff. And yeah, it's been really fantastic to bring down the Cabbage Boy one by one. As Baked Buddha said, already 1 dislike. Hi, RKI, Cope and Seath. They are my biggest fans. As we discovered in the Discord leaks, I am the #1 op of Johnny Somali. I'm the #1, that is giving him nightmares, that's giving him bad dreams at night. And I am so, so happy about that. That makes me smile. That really makes me smile. And it makes me know.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Emotional cabbage.
Adam, baby. Oh, we got a lot of yellows getting the goal. Did we get the goal? We almost hit the goal off rip here. Thank you so much, guys. We're like more than halfway. So thank you so much. Let me get these real quick. Neko Girl 862 for 10 says, I'm excited to be over on the stream. I hope you had a good vacation. I had a lovely vacation. It was really great. The weather here, a lot of people do not like Thailand for rainy season. I love rainy season because one of the best things about rainy season here is the air quality is beautiful. I could see mountains that I normally couldn't see because of air quality issues, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. The ocean, the islands, it looks like something out of Avatar, honestly. If you guys have ever had a chance to come out here and check out some of the islands, amazing stuff, and a wonderful place to visit, even during rainy season. Sonier Chris for 99 says the slough is strong with this one. Yes, my mic was not cooperating today. JP Ravenfire dropping 5 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much for those 5, and thank you so much for modding. Mr. B Channel for 150, I think it's new Taiwanese dollars, says happy Dragon Boat Festival. Dragon Boat Festival, yes, because I believe it's, if I remember, it's the Double 5 Festival, and I believe it's as a counteract to misfortune and bad luck, because 5 is considered unlucky. That's what I remember. Don't kill me if that's not wrong, if that's wrong. But happy Dragon Boat Festival to all those celebrating, and for all those all over the world. And one of the things I love about traveling, about being an expat, is getting to learn more about the awesome culture and people all around the world. And that's one of the great things about my audience, is you guys are here from all around the world, and that's absolutely based. I love it. Jen Novak for 20 Czech Krona says, good morning, Mr. Cabbage Slayer. Your stream is ready. I know. Minsk Watcher for 50 Belarusian says, you're late, Mr. Mindset. I expect a class action lawsuit. We have so many lawsuits. And one of the funny things is that I think Somali and his crew don't know much about me and don't know much about law coverage. I think there's a pertinent belief in the naysayers that, I'll have nothing to cover after Johnny Somali or in between Johnny Somali. I don't think they've even paid attention to what LawTube is, or people that have done coverage, or my channel. I've covered multiple topics all around the world. We're going to be just fine. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Other cases I'm interested in. Koberger case, Brian Koberger case is coming up. We got some Wes Watson stuff coming up. A lot of other interesting stuff, plus a lot of Nuisance streamer news, including some updates with Vitali, updates on other things. So we've got a lot of stuff to keep us busy on this channel. Opus and Bill's Dandelion Patch became a new member. Welcome. Garnet Moonstone became a new member. Welcome. Roy Danino for 15. I believe the Checkles says long late. Thank you. Stephen Miller says, you're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Ivan's Nightfall says, can't show up for a show on time for one stream. I do it sometimes. I'm sometimes very early, guys. Opus and Bill's Dandelion Patches wonder if Johnny can get a Cabbage Patch doll from the prison commissary. Oof.
Emotional damage.
Sonia Chris says the late is strong with this one, but I am here. Doug Diaz for 5. Thank you so much. Riga was saying here, I was thinking you were going to cancel on us. Oh, well, better late than never. Leave it to Florida Man to show up whenever the hell he wants. In my defense, I did schedule this stream 15 minutes ago before I checked my mic. Tokiko Mima for 910 says, is Hank complicit for any of the crap that Ramsey's doing by Discord with the harassment and other trouble? So this is a good question. Actually, let me skip to one of the things that I'm going to show you guys. So I'm going to show you this coverage from the Korean side of the Johnny Somali case. And this is a very big channel, the Y channel, that has almost over 500,000 subscribers, almost 600K. So almost over 500,000, subscribers. I'm sure they'll get to 1 million at some point. But you see it's Korean language coverage. This is kind of Korean coded channel. It's all in Hangul, right? This video has 161K views. It's 8 days ago. It'll probably get to 200K. And, one of the first questions, and the one that's most liked here, can you guys read that? Let me go down in the corner here. It's, why aren't they suing the Hank guy as an accomplice? So that's one of the biggest questions. One of the most liked there is Hank. And a lot of people are looking at Hank or putting him under scrutiny. And I think that is absolutely a good thing. I think Hank deserves to be under scrutiny. I think he deserves to be called out. He is absolutely complicit in all of this. Liz and Rules and Hakas and Hollow Grand Thorns has just come back to see Johnny's meltdown. In all honesty, I understand why Korea let him be free to stack his charges. I was a legal one in charge of his fate. I put him in jail immediately, but this is why I am not part of legal. Yeah, no, this is Korea's strategy. Korea plays the long game. Korea plays the smart game. And Korea has shown very well that they have outsmarted Johnny Somali. They continue to allow him to dig himself in. And this media coverage, I mean, look at what let me just pull this back up because we'll skip to this right now. This is very relevant. So this Korean coverage, right? They are following all the stuff he is doing, the deep fakes, him making a show of himself with the hat, him out here with Hank looking like weirdos with their, ebony ivory stuff. They're covering all of his crimes, him going with Ice Poseidon and him confronting Ice Poseidon. They're covering, even his streams he's doing recently, right? Which once again, if he was in jail, none of that would have happened. Or none of these comments would happen. Also, guess what they're interested in? This. They're interested in this. They're interested in his little, cosplay here. His clan cosplay. And they're following all of this. They're also following him shit talking the judge, making threats to the judge's mother. And once again, I do need to be careful now playing this stuff because their language is so bad that it triggers the YouTube algorithm. So I'm just kind of skimming through this. But a lot of these statements and a lot of the stuff he said, and this is all this video, this clip here, everything else. This is after he was arrested. This is stuff that's happened, in fact, just in the past few months. So you can see that their strategy has allowed them to dig in. Another thing that they found really important, and this is very curious, is the Koreans were very interested in the testimony of Gino and what Gino said. So Gino's commentary on this has once again, in the eyes of Korea, made him look more culpable. So all of this, I think, is a good thing. It's a good thing that they're using my coverage. It's a good thing that they're out here following this closely, and they're getting the word out to Koreans to really know what's going on and give good coverage. So big shout out to the Y channel on that one. I think increased pressure on Johnny Salami is the way. Eric Schroeder says for 10, Hank is jealous that Somali thinks about you more than
Oh hell no. Oh hell no. Oh hell no. Oh hell no.
It is both flattering and creepy that Ramsey thinks about me this much. Ray Obi says, so I just found out that Ramsey were to do the same thing in Canada, mainly obstruction of business. It's a mischief charge in Canada. Wonder how it is in the state if it's a mischief charge. It depends on where and when. I mean, frankly, in many of the cases here, Johnny would have just probably ended up getting beat up. Probably, in some cases, there might be some self-defense stuff going on with Johnny Somali. Other cases, he would definitely be arrested. I think a lot of the stuff in public transit in the U.S. would get him in trouble a lot quicker and faster and harder than it would in Korea, perhaps. But yeah, it's just he's not in the U.S. And the other thing is he's not in the U.S. because he kind of knows a lot of the folks in the U.S. can understand what he's saying and take action quicker. You've got to understand one of the ideas with these nuisance streamers is to go to countries where English is a second language and it's not the strongest language. So they can get away with saying stuff and the majority of people may not understand right away, or because he speaks like an uneducated second grader, they won't understand what he's saying at all. Even for me, even for an American lawyer trying to parse this, oftentimes you have to replay what Johnny says just to hear him speaking because he speaks in a confusing, uneducated manner. So a lot of that, would be very difficult to understand for someone who is English as a second language, which is why he gets away with it for a longer period of time until these things are translated, get in the news cycle and get out there. But due to our coverage and due to the rapid translation by a lot of excellent clippers, this is getting out there and the Koreans are aware of how vile this human being is. Common Person says, thank you for the hard work, great content. My pleasure. Sketch Therapy said, Disney Law is also a great source of content. Yeah, I will follow the Gina Carano case as that goes through. I mean, I was spot on that one, and any other stuff down that pike, I will cover. I know Martin Lee B says, thanks for the good work. Finally caught alive. Awesome. Spider Bro says, late, man. Awesome. Ryobi says, and also you heard of the nuisance streamer trying to get in North Korea via China only to get arrested by authorities. Yes, Sam Pepper. I've been looking into that. We have some other stuff today. I am going to save that one for another day and try to get all the video on that and the facts on that. So give me some time. We got plenty of time for the other nuisance streamers, as we'll see today. Archer Vine says, surprise, Hank's school hasn't expelled him. It's because Hank is kind of hiding where his school is. If people figure out Hank's school, he is in big trouble because he can definitely get expelled for damaging their reputation. This is something I've spoken to about with many people in Korea. Shout out to Dr. Ulrich, who is a professor in Korea. So very familiar with the educational rules in Korea. And it's very clear, speaking to anybody, lawyer, non-lawyer, who knows about the education system, is that they can absolutely remove Hank for what he has done and that damage to the school's reputation. 100%. Japanese demon lord Abari Lucifer says the black hood wasn't the Klan. It's from the Catholic Church and still probably used today in America. Seen folks wearing that in New Orleans. Yes, but regardless of, we're not going to try to argue the history or what it is or whatever else. The point of the matter is he was trying to do a Kanye. He was trying to be controversial. It failed. People laughed at him. He looks like a dork. Michael Rule says, since Ramsey mentioned the mainstream media himself, are they still making fun of his financial situation? Yes, they continue to do that in Korea. They think it's absolutely hilarious. Liz and Rules, Hollow Grand Thorn says, I want to add this. People I've seen in Korea probably will go through all of his trials just to deport and fine at most no chance. Can you recap his charges? Some charges he was found guilty, new charges he'll be found guilty, he'll be jailed no matter what. I have done that multiple times and will do that again, especially when we go towards the next court date in August. But just as a recap, he has already pled guilty to 4 of the charges: 2 obstruction, 2 Minor Crimes Act. There's an obstruction charge, a 3rd obstruction charge, which it's not clear whether he pled guilty or not guilty. Let's go with not guilty for now. And then there's 2 deepfakes he pled not guilty on. Those deepfakes definitely have some prison time that is attached to them. The obstruction can or cannot be prison time. But in Ramsey's case, as we went over on my sentencing stream, check that out if you want to see the big details on the exact sentencing numbers. He has all the aggravating factors, all the factors which make it worse. So I have confidence that even if he did somehow get off on the deepfakes, he would still get time on the obstruction charges alone. If he gets hit on all 3 of those, which I'm confident he will have some time on that. Majestic Space Duck says, the night before sentencing, you should stream a prison movie watch along. Shawshank, Green Mile. I can't do that on YouTube. I could do that on another platform. I could probably do that on maybe Locals or Rumble or something, but I cannot do that on YouTube. I would love to do that. That'd be great. Eddie Catflap says, thanks for a gifted membership. Hello, Johnny. Clips Film Melbourne for 10 Oz says, I wanted to write Bed Intruder parody lyric, the Somali version. This part of parody lyric means pull out fists, baseball bats, and soccer ball. Might be too violent. Beating Somali, but kind of funny to me. Okay, so I had a little issue because I was going to show some diss tracks, and some people, some small creators, have done some amazing Somali diss tracks. But number one, I haven't had the time to ask their permission, which I always do. And second, some of them, 1 or 2 of them, were kind of violent, so I wanted to err on the side of not showing them. But there are some amazing Somali diss tracks out there if you look for them. Daniel said, Johnny on another meltdown. What happened? Is it because of Discord? Yes, we'll send that right now. Maddie says, Senpai lives rent-free in Cabbage Boy's brain. Absolutely. And Cleodra, for 2 Canadians, says, Johnny will not come out clean on the other side. Nope, he is quite dirty. So let's start let me start with the Somali stuff and the Discord stuff. So in case you guys didn't know, in case you haven't watched my other stream, there were leaks from an internal group which was at the highest level in Johnny Somali's Discord. This was at a very high level group that they called the Somali Intelligence Agency. And this particular group was tasked with coming up with blackmail, with dirt. They were impersonating me. They were trying to dox me and trying to do all sorts of crazy stuff. They're going after my family. They're trying to harass Bong Bong. They're trying to create fake information on Bong Bong. They completely and utterly failed. Also, another thing I found out, and this is a little update that's off the record, is they're trying to find the Somali Conviction Team Discord. They're very convinced they can get into the Somali Conviction Team Discord. Well, good luck. Good luck finding that. Good luck finding that, boys. They're not going to find any of our communications. Liz and Ruza and Haka's Hollow Grand Thorn for 20 Singapore says, one last fund. Please, Korea, anyone who watches this and you in Legal Mindset, do us a favor. Somehow be the prosecution during his trial and get him the maximum possible sentence. I and many are paying to get him jailed. One thing that I have been doing, and one thing that I was asked by the Korean media, by the Korean mainstream media when they interviewed me, was, do Americans want him punished? My answer to that was, hell yeah. And I'll put some money in the swear jar for that bad boy. Hell yeah. Americans and people worldwide want him punished. See, in many cases, countries are afraid of the pushback they might get for punishing someone. In the case, for example, of Michael Fay, which is a famous case in Singapore of someone who was given a assignment, a punishment of caning, and that was viewed as, by some, as sort of severe. It was ultimately reduced, I believe, from 8 to 6 lashes with the cane. You know, it's kind of reduced there. The U.S. had some talks, but he didn't just do one thing. It wasn't just chewing bubble gum. It was doing a series of things. But there's cases in which the U.S. might intervene if a punishment was seen as extraordinarily harsh, and no country wants to come out and out of the gate go crazy punishing anybody from another country, certainly not a large developed country. However, that means punishing them unjustifiably with no justification or reason. With Johnny Somali, Ramzi Khalid Ismail, there is absolutely every reason to punish this person, and no one is going to lose sleep at night over it. I mean, even Hanky Poo on some level knows it's coming. Don Bringer says, I hope all are well. I have to catch up later because I'm getting ready for my ketamine infusion. I'll miss you on chat. What are you, Nick Ricada? Come on. All right. Well, take care, Don Bringer. Rayobi says, scenes like this are happening all around the world. You could be next unless you make the most important decision of your life. Join the Somali conviction team. Join the most elite team against nuisances. I do love this new one. Let me play this new clip. Some of you may have missed this, but this is a good one. I do love that they use the very wholesome Spy X family to make this one.
しっかり足を踏み出して体重を移動しながら腰をひねり肩に力を伝えて
The cabbage fields at the end is such a chef's kiss. Good touch. Great memes. Great memes. GBRC EFC 125. In short, could you please explain the deepfake? I have entire videos on that. I have shorts on that. I will explain it on a future one. I'll go into detail. I'll pull up the slides. I don't have those slides prepped for today, but we will get to that. I will do that again, right? Especially as we go up to the trial. Also, I do have some updates on that, which I will have for another stream, because we now know who the male deepfake is. And actually, the male deepfake may be even worse than the female one in certain ways, and we'll get to that, so don't worry. Taihei Miyagi for 200 yen says, what did Goggin do in Thailand? You're gonna watch the video. So don't worry, we got video. King Lucha said, yo, YouTube didn't notify me. What you're gonna do is ding the bell, and if it doesn't work, unding it, reding it. Make sure it's all notifications. That will help you out. Also, you can follow me on X or on legalmindset.locals.com. Just join for free. You don't have to pay anything if you just want to get the notices. I send out messages to everybody to keep them updated for stream notices. So you can just sign up for free on my locals, and you'll just make sure you get all the notices to your email. McZulian for 100 Argentina. I love that someone used Helldivers 2 intro speech from Somali conviction team. Great stuff. Hi, everyone. Hey. King Lugia for 10 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much.
Emotional damage.
Taco Roll for $14.99. You are not late. And Glans B 43 says, you've been fantastic therapists these past few months. Did you get your psychology degree before or after your law degree? Thank you, brother. No, but funny enough, I have read a lot of books on psychology, human psychology, behavior, etc. I think it goes hand in hand with the law, because part of the law is understanding other people, understanding the way they think. And whether you are a criminal lawyer, a civil lawyer, a real estate lawyer, a corporate lawyer, or a negotiator, an arbitrator, it's very important to understand the people on the other side of the aisle. A lot of people like to give lawyers flack or pushback for playing devil's advocate, but understanding the position of the other person can be critical to winning. In the case of Johnny Somali, we try to understand his point in order to defeat it. I have had streams where I have said, my stream, the Somali defense, I've taken his viewpoint and then made fun of it as ridiculous. Because if you actually go in that viewpoint and you try to understand it, you see how ridiculous and obstinate and crazy it is. You have to step for a second into the mind of that person and then see where they're trying to go. And for Somali, it is kind of insane, but not enough for an insanity plea. Spider Rose says, to South Korea coming up from an American, not only we Johnny Somali, also known as Ramzi Khalid Ismail, punished, will ask you if you give him the max sentence. I agree. Okay, let's jump right into with the Discord stuff. Hey, so obviously there was a flip out about this. I posted this on my X, so you guys can obviously go over there and see that. And it's absolutely hilarious here when you look at it. Now there is some bad language here, so for those that are sensitive, just understand this is Johnny's chat. They use some very vile language, so just understand that. But you see here, this is the Discord here, and of course somebody has the Diddy photo, right? Who leaked the SIA, meaning the private chat? They mentioned the person who allegedly did, right? And they mentioned what happened here. Once again, Johnny modded him because he said he spoke Korean, effing, R word, reason not to mod. Too bad Johnny is R word. So, and then, he did it to himself. So people literally coming out there and calling out Johnny in his own Discord. His own supporters are calling him an idiot for allowing himself to get played, for having his Discord leaked. So good job, Salami. Good job, Salami. You really played yourself, buddy. But the big meltdown here is that his entire chat has been deleted. Now, I said this live, but here's the Carfax. Here's the, Johnny Salami over here. Here's the general chat. You can see this is the start of the chat. Boom. Rip general. Everything was deleted. They nuked everything because they're afraid of the evidence. They're afraid of people logging it. They're afraid of people getting it. They literally nuked all of general. The fake legal mindset, once again, I live rent free in their head. So there's about 100 fake legal mindset accounts on Discord. Says fresh start. Don't think it just happened out of nowhere. Impulse. The owner is well aware. Searching through history is nothing there anyways. I don't think so. Logical question here. If you have nothing to hide, why would you delete anything? And now, it's one thing if you're like marketing a product and you shift what product you're marketing or the type of product you're marketing. So you no longer offer, orange juice if you don't sell orange juice, and now you're selling apple juice. That's not Johnny Salami, right? That is not what he's doing. He's hiding this stuff 100% because he is scared. Also, King Terry with obviously the best comment here, which kind of describes really everything. But yeah, this is absolutely because they're terrified. This is absolutely because they're scared. And it just shows the absolute, infantile and stupid nature of his Discord, which continues to get blown out left and right. All right. Okay, here. So let's see. Let's go through a little bit of the memes, shall we? We've got a couple of them here. This is a pretty good one. This is a pretty solid one. And thank you to people who've been submitting the memes. This is a pretty solid one. I like this one here. It's got the cabbages. It's got the guilty. It's got the Korea. I rest my case. Rest my case. Every day we get closer to the cabbage fields. Every day we get closer to sentencing. It's absolutely beautiful. And then we've got one more here, which I thought was pretty good. And I posted this one on my X. This is a good reference here. I normally... Marvel ones are interesting, but this is good. This is good. This is good. You can't defeat me. I know, but you can. Korea. And this is very true. I think this is very true because look, at the end of the day, the victory is for Korea. It's for the Korean people. It's for travelers. It's for expats. It's not for me. It's not personal for me. Right now, I am going to personally take this guy to the mat for Korea as much as I can. I'm going to push this and advertise this and be, the spokesperson for putting him away as much as I can be. That's my personal mission. But it's Korea and Koreans who deserve the credit for this. Koreans are helping me with this. Koreans, without the help of Koreans, I could not bring you guys this coverage. Every single piece of information I bring you is credit to Koreans, is credit to the Korean people. It's credit to expats living in Korea. This is all with the help of Koreans and with collaboration of Koreans. Just because they're not on stream with me does not mean they're not helping. And there's a lot of them. So I just understand that as well. But real quick, Catweasel dropping 50 Legal Mindset memberships saying, just came back from Gran Canaria. Well, I hope you had a wonderful trip because we all know Ramsey didn't.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Thank you, Cat Weasel. Appreciate the big 50. You know, Johnny is coping over that. By the way, we've already almost hit our goal. We're just barely, what are we right now? 30 minutes in, which is awesome. We've got already 56 new memberships. Actually, no, that's more. That's inaccurate. It's actually, sorry, 60 new memberships. Amazing. Thank you so much. And if you received a gift membership from anybody, please say thank you. Adam J. Galaxy said, Johnny Smalley's emergency passport will expire before his trial day. Adam, just understand the passport is a red herring. I don't know if you're familiar with the concept. It's just something red herring, something that, you know, you think is important, but it's not. The passport is irrelevant. He has a travel ban. When you have a travel ban, no passport you have in the world can get you out of the country. It doesn't matter. No inflatable boat, no, you know, dinghy, no train, plane, automobile. He's not getting out of the country. He has a full travel ban. He cannot leave the country. So no matter whether he has a passport or not, it does not matter. Now, a lot of people might say, okay, if his passport expires, he'll be in trouble. No, he could go to the embassy and get an emergency one when he is able to go home. He get an emergency passport as a one-way ticket back to America. And I guarantee you, when he gets to America, he's going to have a rude awakening. Bobo Yogi says, need a Last Airbender Cabbage Man meme. That'd be fun. Christopher Tillery says, excellent point you made earlier about talking the videos on the other side. My wife's a trial lawyer. His main argument has been freedom of speech and the U.S. way of thinking. He forgets since he's in someone else's backyard. Exactly. And I've made the best argument possible for that, which is he can try to say it's freedom of speech, and maybe he can try to challenge it to the constitutional court. But that's only after he's been viewed as guilty, right? You can try to say the deep fakes violate his freedom of speech. He'll lose. He'll almost certainly lose that trial. And he doesn't have the money or the time to do that. He'll be in Korea for years. It effectively will be him serving a sentence. By the way, during the appeal, he would have to be in jail behind bars. So this is not going to work out the way he thinks it is. And beyond that, he's literally relying on his Discord for legal advice. Let me say that again. We saw proof that he is ignoring his lawyer and listening to his Discord. A bunch of people that are not Koreans, they're not in Korea. Remember, he's racist against Koreans, and he tried to expel any Korean from his groups or anything else. He doesn't allow Koreans or Japanese people in. He'll ban them, remove them, exile them from the community. So he's got no real Korean support other than his lawyer and Hank, who thinks he's a lawyer. And once again, we've seen the Hank Goodman, not attorney at law level advice, which has always been wrong. Vital for 5 says, I saw someone say that RKI is a result of woke ideology, which is kind of crazy since RKI considers itself begging Trump. No. This is a thing, and we need to get rid of this thought. He is not political one way or another. He says whatever he says in order to offend people. He will say something to a person that is conservative. He'll say something that is extraordinarily liberal. He'll say something conservative to a liberal to piss them off. He will say whatever it will make you mad. His point is to make you mad. It makes you lose the story if you get down that track. He is nothing but an annoying gnat, right? And he's a gnat that needs to be swatted. Big Buddha says, I can attest being on Locals is great. Love the emails. When he pre-posts lives on Locals, he makes a post on Locals about it and emails you. Yeah, and I look over there for memes. I look over there for other information and other stuff. So it's good to see people over there right now. I see JP Ravenfire, Danielle, Deha over there. So shout out to everybody over there on Locals who's in the Locals chat. And they also sometimes send some great memes. So good stuff over there. And I do at least once a month a Locals exclusive stream, which is just a chat where we have a casual talk, off topics stuff, and just my life, personal stuff that is more person to person. Liz and Ruiz and Haka's Hollow Grand Thorn for 10 says, seriously, if you try those activities in my place of residence, I think you have been shown the potential consequences. Yes, in Singapore, they don't mess around. If he gets such consequences, I guarantee he won't even try it again. Yeah, and I actually think the president or prime minister of Singapore, forget which one, has come out and said, and I'm abbreviating this, like, we don't care about your bullshit excuses, like we're going to enforce our laws and rules against you, which I completely agree with. I don't think any country should give anyone a pass because they are part of another country which perceives itself as great. whether that's America or China or Canada or Russia or Germany or England or Brazil or whatever else. If you go to another country, you can't say, well, I'm from this important country, therefore you can't punish me. That's not a defense. And that has been one of Johnny's core defenses, is that I'm an American. And that is not a defense to local laws. It just isn't. There's no full stop. Irene Regis 89 for 10 says, RKI shouldn't be worried about what you will do after his case over. At this rate, he'll just keep piling on charges for all eternity. You could always report him as jail life post-sentencing. Exactly. But once again, I've been doing streaming. I streamed for 4 years before RKI was in this case came up. I had other things I was covering. I have other work I do. I help expats move over to Asia and people relocate to Asia. I have plenty of work on that side. Sometimes I'm very busy on that. And I have other things I've covered. And I've been doing YouTube almost full time for 4 years. So I think I'll be fine. I know what to do. Joji for 1,000 says, thank you for entertainment and bringing Mewaku streamers something to fear. That's Nuisance streamer, I believe, in Japanese. Nova Zero for 10 says, is it true that if we click the like button, we might get a religious experience? I heard we get a shift in some sort of mindset. Maybe legal, or is it low T and short heightened RKI? No, you get a huge boost in your awesomeness when you click that like button. So smash it. Wizard Wolf says, instead of insanity defense, maybe you could say he's too stupid to know any better. Why could blame this man, this joke of a man, only a yogurt? Well, here's the thing. The I'm too stupid isn't really a defense. And that's not going to get him out of anything because he's stupid. He doesn't have what would be called in the legal world diminished capacity. He doesn't have any proof of that. He does try and is trying to submit evidence of BPD or something else, but that's not going to help him at all at this point in the trial. It's too late for that sort of stuff. If he was going to use that sort of approach, he would have just pled kind of not guilty on everything and gone with a different angle. Okay. So let's switch gears here. And I've got some information on, let's start with Japan. And then we're going to segue over to Thailand because I've got some information on nuisance streamers trying to cause trouble in Thailand. These are some of Somali's ilk, some of his bros. And I think, once again, the country should take harsh action against these people. Okay, so here we have, this is some news from Japan. So Japan is going to put in a ESTA type system. I posted this on my X, but I think I need to explain it to you guys and how this may stop nuisance streamers. So they're going to have a US style entry system for foreign visitors. They're calling it JESTA, which is really just a copy of the US ESTA system, which stands for Electronic System for Travel Authorization. Now, while this might not seem like much, it does two things. Number one, there will probably be some monetary cost to it. So you probably will have to pay a little upfront. So the very, very cheap streamers that are budget streamers, they might have some problems with that. Now, of course, nuisance streamers that are making a good amount of money, it's no problem. But beyond that, this is a centralized system where they will have to attest to whether or not they are criminals. And this is perfect because now you will have a centralized system with this information. The problem with a lot of immigration systems is they were decentralized. It was on paper. It was up to the individual agent. And once you have a centralized digital system, they can flag you as an individual, as a nuisance streamer, as a criminal. They can ban you from the country. They can put on your record any criminal complaints that have been lodged against you. And this is going to be relevant in the case of one of the people we're going to cover, Gagan TV, who's over here in Thailand, right? And he's over there doing a lot of the same shit he was doing in Japan. Another thing is they can share this information with other jurisdictions. If this person is known to be in another jurisdiction or knows to cause trouble, they could share that information across borders, and other countries have the freedom to ban them, prohibit them, keep them from entering. I think this is a good thing. And I think nuisance streamers information and nuisance streamers that are known to be profiting should absolutely be prohibited from entering countries if they are profiting on criminal activity or profiting on the general annoyance and nuisance of the public and doing things knowingly that they know are wrong, that they know are annoying, that they know cause mass anger for clout, for money, and for profit, like Vitaly, like Johnny, and like many of these folks. So I think this system here is a good thing. I think this is something that is that can help. Now, is it going to be the silver bullet? No. I think the silver bullet will be enforcement of existing laws, making sure people are charged, making sure people are punished, setting an example. I think that will go very far, but it's a baby step. And I think baby steps get us going in the right direction. And I see some people in the chat saying I shouldn't pay more because Johnny is an a-hole. Hear me out here. This is the price that we unfortunately have to pay. This is what they've done. It's like, for example, security measures at the airport, right? You know, we used to live in a society where you could just walk up to the gate and get on the airplane. Can't do that anymore. Society changes, things change, and unfortunately, we have to deal with the consequences of the worst of us messing things up for everybody else. That is the unfortunate problem of society, is that the dregs of the internet are now messing it up for everybody. And the one thing I can say is, if they're able to stop it at the border, then the society as a whole can remain a high trust society, can remain a society where people can feel free and comfortable and safe. But if they keep allowing these people to get into the country, that is going to continue to cause these incidents, and that's going to continue to have these problems. Hollow Live, I'll just say Hollow Grand Thorn. Well, I'll go by the end there. As an American, I remember did exactly what Johnny did. He was jailed and given 6 strokes of the cane. I think of Michael Fay. Yeah. Despite having asked for leniency, they surprisingly he was given 4 strokes of the cane. Want to show the public our law? I've shown caning before, and I almost got a community guideline strike for it. So I'm not going to do it again. But if you can Google caning in Singapore, Malaysia, other jurisdictions that do it, it is severe. It is like blood is usually drawn. Severe. Rayobi for 10 Canadian says, don't forget Johnny was advised to take the train to Jeju, which is across the ocean. Yes, the fake legal mindset account and some others in there, some big boys in that Somali stupidity agency, his private group, advised him to take a train to Jeju. Jeju is an island. It's very far away. There's no train. There's no train. Yeah, congrats, you played yourself. Yeah. Asia Dragon says, I think the Japanese government should do is create a law system that talks about live streaming earning profits. That way, no nuisance streamers can go there and harass people of Japan or other YouTube channels in Japan, like only in Japan. Exactly. And the thing is, they are thinking about doing that in Japan. They're thinking about cracking down on streamers in Japan and making sure they have the proper visas and authority, which I hope they do. Okay, so let's go over to Thailand and let's show you guys some video on some misbehavior here in the kingdom of Thailand in the land of smiles. And this, once again, personally bothers me because I primarily reside in the kingdom of Thailand, although I do travel and spend extensive time in Japan, Korea, Philippines, other places in Southeast Asia. And we're going back to this guy. You guys probably remember him, Gagan TV. And if you remember, Gagan TV was this kind of fake alpha who went over to Hokkaido and ended up getting beat up by some Japanese folks in Hokkaido after he was harassing a local Japanese woman, and he ran away, got beat up, and then tried to play tough, both before and after. Very interesting behavior. But once again, he tried to say this was not his typical stuff. This is not his typical behavior. But we have some footage here, which shows him. He is out on Khao San Road. Now, for those that may not know, Khao San Road is a popular tourist destination in Thailand. It's in Bangkok. It's very frequented by backpackers and young people. I will say I go there maybe sometimes, maybe once a month or so, if there's a tourist friend or somebody who wants to see it. But it's generally kind of chaotic for me, so I don't go there very often. But these guys are out there in the wee hours, and they're drinking heavily. They're trying to find people to harass, and they end up Gagan ends up getting in a fight. But before I show you that fight footage, Fitty Tucker tucked Fitty into my back pocket here and giving Johnny Somali some big
Emotional damage. Yes.
Thank you for that, Fitty Tucker. And if you receive one of those from Fitty Tucker, please say thank you, as we now have over 100 new memberships. I think we have 114. Thank you so much. Zyla Gets Sassy says, isn't alpha the pre-release that still needs to be debugged? This is not just needing to be debugged. This needs to be completely reworked. You'll see. And Jay Lonzano for 90 says, so like Hollywood Boulevard, sort of, but it's a lot of backpackers. Now, and look, I'm not knocking that. If you're a young person and you're, staying in hostels and you're traveling, that's cool. I did that when I was super young, and there's a lot of really cool backpackers, nice people that stay in hostels and whatnot. But these guys they have the money and they go to these places because they think they can get away with harassing people. Now, one fun fact is that actually Gino of Johnny Somali fame, Gino, the cameraman of Johnny Somali, actually made a ruckus here and kicked a chair, and he was pursued by some security and nearly got himself in a very serious situation. So let's pop this one up, and I may have to, let me check right here. Okay. There's some music. I think I can get away with this. If not, there may be an edit to the video afterwards. It's background music, but sometimes this stuff can cause problems. So let's go ahead and watch this. So what we have here is Goggin, and he's here with this guy, and this guy was trying to show him a watch. I think it is a Tag Heuer Carrera. So it was a watch that may have had some price to it. And he's trying to show him his watch, and he's got his little Apple Watch here, and he's kind of feeling insecure about the watch. Right. So watch what he does with this guy's watch and kind of watch the aftermath.
Hold it then. Let me have it. Oh shit. Oh shit. See? See? Oh shit. Where'd it go? I don't know where it went.
So there we go. Already gets him in the face. Right. Fight ensues. I'm not going to show all the fight because I don't want to, get in trouble here. But fight ensues. These guys are wrestling around. Once again, we know Goggin doesn't know how to fight, right? There's a whole incident here. People start breaking it up, and they have a kind of tussle over there on Khao Road. And of course, there's like 16 guys that are jumping in this and breaking this up almost immediately. But of course, once again, Goggin playing tough guy here, acting like an idiot. Clearly, these guys are drunk, and once again, drunk idiots fighting is nothing new. But Goggin has this kind of history. Goggin Singh has this history of going around and playing tough guy, starting fights, and it's really, really, really annoying. And he's lucky he didn't try that with somebody who was local, because that could be a very, very bad scenario. Okay, we've also got some footage from inside of a hotel, where Goggin, again, with one of his streaming homeboys, ends up destroying the hotel, I think over having a boo-boo. I think his buddy gets a boo-boo, and he decides to destroy the hotel. Now, the good news is, I know where this hotel is, and as far as I'm aware, I was told the hotel was notified of this and notified of the damage to the hotel. I'm going to personally confirm that. They know this, they know who they are, they know who to go after, they compensated for the damages, because destroying a hotel on stream for profit and fun is absolutely nuisance streamer behavior and should not be tolerated. And in fact, once again, doing it for profit and doing it knowingly is different than doing it mistakenly. If you accidentally broke something in a hotel room, okay, pay for it, it's fine. But if you're going out and destroying it for money, for profit, and you're mad because you got a boo-boo, not the right thing. So I'll start it right about here. I don't want to show any, there's a little bit of blood, so I don't want to show that. But you see here, guy gets a boo-boo, and
I broke my iPhone because of this bit.
iPhone 16. Yo, chill! Bro! Stop breaking more
there's Goggin over here. That's the hotel room, same guy.
shit!
Goes over here to the chair. Okay, now we're gonna watch this. So there's a second clip here. We'll play the second clip, right? So they go over, they're mad at the chair, so they take it out on the chair and they bust up the chair in the room. Let me show this one over here. This one's over here. Okay. I gotta mute this one because it's got the music is way too loud. It's gonna get definitely claimed. But let me fast forward it to where they're destroying the chair. It's right about here. Okay, here we go. Right here. So him and his bro, they're in the room, go over the chair, literally picks the chair up over his head, right? And then proceeds to break the chair, right? He just fucking snaps the chair leg off. And even he knows, turns away from it because he knows, he sees it on film, caught destroying the chair leg. Once again, first of all, he's trying to overhead slam it. He's slamming it against the floor here, and then proceeds to break that off. Not to mention, this place looks like a fucking pig pen, and I will put some in the swear jar for that. And they're messing with everything else. I think they're maybe even messing with the TV. So they got a lot of stuff going on in there. I will definitely make sure that hotel is informed. I will make sure that they know who these people are and what they're about and what they're doing. And this just shows, once again, these people don't just stop at one incident. They cannot stop. They go around doing these things in various countries, various places for fun and for profit. And people should not be streaming this sort of stuff, right? It's not the content that people should be streaming. Benton says, sounds like more people want to FO. Find out. Fitty Tucker for 10 Australian says, been in a lot of communities. Legal Mindset community has been the most based and wholesome thus far. RK hates you because he can't be you. No, and he hates me because he really can't stop me. He's trying so hard to get me, and he's failed for almost a year now. So good at you, Somali. We'll see you in the cabbage fields. Ryobi said, oh, I remember Gagan. He was Gagan on the bouncer's sea cucumber. He got TKO'd because he harassed the bouncer's girl. You can even see the pearls in the Gagan guy's mouth when he talks. Oof. Mick Skittles says maybe an emotional support cabbage plush. That would help. That might help Johnny. He might need that in jail. Stonefire says being USC, CBP can't keep him out, unlike green card holders out of the country for over 100 days, subject to all the regs as travelers coming to the US. Yes. I don't know what you say. A US citizen? So let me be clear here. I don't know what you're trying to say. If you're talking about out of America, yes, citizens can enter their own country. Americans have a right to enter America. Americans do not have a right to enter any other country unless they are a citizen of that country. Let me say that again. There is no right to enter a country unless you are a citizen. Everybody else, everyone else, if there's reason or even no reason, they can stop you. If you are a tourist, there is no reason the country has to let you in. They let you in because they give their permission for you to be let in. They give you their grace to let you into their country and enjoy it. It is not your right to be there. You have no standing. You have no right. You cannot say, but I'm an American. I demand to come to Korea. I demand to come to Thailand. I demand to come to Japan. No, if they don't want you here, they can remove you. That's fully within their sovereign power. That's what a country is as a entity, unless you're a citizen. If you're a citizen, then you have the right to come there. These people are not citizens of Korea. They're not citizens of Japan. They're not citizens of the Philippines or Thailand or anywhere else. They're mostly Americans, some of them Europeans, and they can be sent back there. King Lugia for 15 Malaysian ringgit says, with all these nuisance streamers act, one wonders if they were birthed by animals and raised in the wilderness. I think the birth by animals, I think it's birthed by the worst parts of the internet. It's birthed by the lowest common denominator, by people that are having them do these things for nickels. I mean, these guys are destroying stuff. They're causing a commotion. And we have one more streamer in Thailand to talk about, and his behavior is absolutely disgusting. And frankly, the fact he gets kicked out of a bar for this behavior is really bad because it takes a lot. People are very gracious. They understand people being drunk. Getting kicked out of a bar means you've gone really, really far. And you've gone extreme with your levels of harassment. We'll get into that one. It's another streamer in Thailand. Summer Lavrador says, to counterbalance what you put out in the swear jar. Oh, thank you. Thank you and the conviction team for helping bring RKI to justice. Thank you. Gamercrom09 says, good thing we got Vitaly here as a deterrent. Irene Regis 89 says, great that these streamers face consequences, but the sites that facilitate this content and fail to properly moderate it should also face consequences. I saw an AI video. Now, this is not true, but I saw an AI video that was on, I think it was on Instagram. And it's not true, but it's funny. And this video was saying Japan is banning all Kick and Twitch streamers. and because of the behavior of, because of the bad behavior of Kick and Twitch streamers. They could do this. It would be nothing illegal, nothing violating their law to ban every single Kick streamer or Twitch streamer. Now, I'm not going to say that first of all, throwing Twitch in there is kind of okay. But for example, if they wanted to ban Kick, there's enough people that are Kick streamers to justify that. And there's enough people to say, if immigration pulls up your name and you pop up as a Kick streamer, they can exclude you. There's nothing illegal about that. That's fully legal in these countries: Korea, Japan, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, anywhere. Even places like, Europe could do that. There's not anything that would necessarily prohibit that. Only a focus on the folks that are bad. Somfar says, you were talking about Somali's passport when I sent it. Now, I understand that, but understand he does have his full passport from what I've seen, his blue passport, not emergency passport, which is purple, but it doesn't matter because he's got a travel ban. Ruthless Mindset says, for 699 Canadian, why don't countries implement that your social media accounts are deleted upon a serious conviction for maximum punishment? It's hard to access them. So, if a law enforcement is trying to access all your social media accounts, they're going to need to do some work. And they're also going to need to get access to those. They may not have access. It may be difficult to get access. The social media companies are often based in other countries. They may ignore requests from law enforcement. So if law enforcement contacts a U.S. social media company and they're a Japanese law enforcement, they may just ignore them, not answer their email, not answer anything else, unless they threaten with a ban of all of those streamers from the country. I think it's time for some serious consequences for these folks. Asian Dragon says, don't hotel need guests to verify they reserve a hotel room, which means Gaga and his buddy need to show their passport to prove accurate name. Yes, they will have their names. They will have the copy of their passport. It is standard procedure in Thailand, Korea, Japan to make a copy of your passport. So they will have their passport information. So that information can be turned over to immigration in any country, and they could just make a report of that. They can turn it over to police. This is why there's copies of your passport. It's also for your safety. It's also for other things, but it can be for law enforcement as well. It can be for law enforcement as well. Joshua Villarreal says, a month already. Thanks for the content. My pleasure. Ryobi says, oh, don't forget the lady who said, my country built your country, all because she didn't want to leave her shoes at the front, as is custom. She was in, I think, Koh Tao or Koh Phangan. I was on those islands recently. There's sand everywhere. Those are beach islands. I believe she was Israeli, but it doesn't really matter. She was a Western tourist, and she didn't want to take her shoes off. And she said, my money built your country. That attitude is not acceptable. That attitude is not an excuse. It does not justify violating the laws or customs of the country. And a business can kick you out for that reason or really any reason. That's certainly justification if you don't want to follow the rules. BG2050 says, up for 100 Thai baht. Nungroy, thank you. Copen Cup says, I've been following up with this news for a while, but I did not know nor have any great source that Johnny did come to my country in the first place. He was here. In fact, I was contacted, and I will be trying to talk to the person who confronted Johnny in Thailand. They reached out to me, so I'm going to try to talk to them this week. Maybe we can do a little interview. Maybe we can do a little chit chat. So I've got the person who confronted Johnny when he was in Thailand way back when. I've got the guy who punched Johnny in Korea. I'm going to interview him. So we've got a lot of people that have confronted Johnny that are coming forward, which is awesome. I think it's awesome. And also remember that tourism is only 12%. A lot of people try to make it out to be such a huge thing. Yes, 12% matters, but it's not 100%, right? There's a lot of products that are made and other things that go on. And so, yes, it's a sector. It's an important sector, one might say, but it's not the only sector of a very robust country, which has a long history. All right, here is this other guy. Now, this is some rude ass behavior. And I've seen a lot of drunk people. I've gone out, and I can go out, even tonight, up the street and around the corner to the British pub. And the British pub will always have some folks that are drunk, but they're usually having a good time. They're drunk. They're as the English might say, pissed. They're pissed, but they're just watching soccer or football, as you other people call it, and maybe rugby, whatever. And they're just having a good time. They're drunk, and usually what happens when people are drunk is, worst case scenario, they get a little loud, maybe they get a little rowdy, maybe they're told to calm down, and they generally do. And, worst case scenario, they're usually sent home. they usually don't get in loud yelling fights with staff, and almost never do I see what happens here and happen, and that is everybody else in the bar clearing out. So let's watch this one. This is from a streamer. I believe his name is Baby Hayes. I think he's Korean, but this is him over here in Thailand acting a fool at a bar in Bangkok. Let's play this one. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna restart this one. Hold on. Got to get the audio. The audio didn't come through. Let's start that one more time. Okay, one more time with audio, because the audio is key here. Okay, here we go. So this guy thinks he has the right to say whatever he wants to say because he paid 120 baht, which is like $3 for a beer. I'm not kidding.
And then you guys said, okay. You guys were like, oh, okay. And then when I sit down, I'm like, nobody's here, bro. Everybody fucking leaving, bro.
You talk about everything wrong.
You're wrong. I've been to Thailand, actually, and this is the worst bar I've ever been to.
That's right.
Yes. But can you guys shut up so I can enjoy my beer that I'm paying 120 baht? Okay, shut up, okay? Let me enjoy my beer. Yes. No, shut up, because I pay 120 baht for this drink. 120 baht for this drink, okay? Okay, can you shut up? Okay, can you shut up so I can drink this beer? Okay, do you allow me to pay? I don't pay? I don't pay? Yeah.
You can come down and drink, please.
Yes, if you be quiet, if you're not shouting at me. Yes, if you're not shouting at me, I'll literally drink and beer my quiet. Go away. Don't stand up to me like you can do.
And once again, the crazy thing is, this is a grown-ass man, a guy who is supposed to be a grown-ass man. Once again, you see a similarity with Somali and the other people. They only confront women and children, right? They're big, tough guys with women and children. They would never speak this way to a man. They would never speak to a group. And they think they're tough because they speak up to women and children. I'm going to show you this guy's face in a second. You're going to see him as he gets kicked out of the bar. And you're going to see the girls kicking him out. All the girls come and they kick him out of the bar. This is pathetic. This is some bullshit behavior. And he's lucky there wasn't a dude in there who would have confronted him over that. Because you paid 120 baht, $3 for a beer, gives you no right to speak like that. First of all, in a Bangkok bar, that's not even that expensive. 120 baht, it's pretty normal, right? That's not expensive at all. It's pretty normal. Now, if you go up country, you're in the sticks. I was up doing a road trip. There's places you can find beers, like a big bottle of Chang or something for 90 baht or 100 baht or something like that. I think I got 3 for 200 at street market, like really in the country. But 120 baht for a beer in Bangkok is normal. And it doesn't give you the right to speak to people like that. Your money does not buy disrespect. You don't get to pay people to disrespect them. That's disgusting. That's horrible. And it absolutely gives them the right to kick you out of the bar. 100%. Asian Dragon says $3 for a beer. The bartender, manager, and owner can tell him to get out for disturbing the business. Yes. And once again, people like this are lucky that shit doesn't happen to them when they act like this. Very lucky, right? Now, he does get kicked out. And of course, he's laughing about it. He's cackling about it. Let me show you when he gets run out of the bar by the girls. And he ran off all the other customers, which is the other thing, which to me, in the Korean, at least when I was looking at Korean law, that would be something like obstruction. Once again, I'm not going to comment on Thai law, right? But if this was in Korea, that would have been obstruction, right? If this was a Somali case, would have been obstruction. So you can see here, he gets run out pretty clearly of the bar for this bad behavior. Let's watch this. There he is. Hold on, I want to get the mug. There is this gentleman getting kicked out, laughing as he did it, right? Laughing as he did it, looking like an absolute donkey, right? This is this guy. This is this guy. What a fucking loser. And I'm going to throw it in the swear jar for that. What a loser. I mean, I thought that it couldn't get uglier than Johnny Somali, but damn. This is the type of thing. Nobody needs this guy in the country. Nobody needs this triple chin loser in the country. And it's always people like that who feel like they can come drop $3 and disrespect people. Absolutely no. Absolutely 100% no. So yeah, definitely needs to be called out. Mr. Melancholy said the guy's an overgrown brat. He's definitely done too much growing, if you know what I mean. Way too much growing. And him complaining and whining about 120 bot, just absolutely the most entitled thing ever. Most entitled thing ever. So once again, this just shows you guys, this does not stop with Johnny Somali. This is something that is a trend. This is something that is being monetized across jurisdictions. It's being monetized in Japan, Korea, Thailand, the Philippines with Vitali. This is not a problem that's isolated. And there does need to be strong messaging to these people that if they're coming there, and not only are they acting like idiots, but they're doing it for money, that there's consequences. There does need to be consequences for these folks. So I just want to bring some attention to that, because I know a lot of people here. Of course, there's a lot of people who are my viewers that are in Thailand, who love Thailand. By the way, shout out to you guys. And I'm going to have some beers with some of the followers here and people who've reached out to me, in the next couple months. This is something that we all need to pay attention to. We all need to stop, and we all need to take action against, particularly those that are living abroad. Let's see here. Chuds R Us says, hey, Andrew, I recently changed my name on YouTube. Used to be Keys Gaming. Cool. Anyways, I'm still here enjoying your content. Awesome. What will you do with content-wise after Johnny's in prison? Love you, bro. There's going to be lots of trials. I will look at what news is happening now, what things happen now. I've always done that. After Johnny, we'll see whatever's happening. If there's other Nuisance streamers, we'll cover that. If there's big trials, we'll cover that. If there's other interesting stuff going down, we'll cover that. There's going to be lawsuits. There's going to be legal stuff. There's going to be corporate stuff. We got the whole VTuber world, my VTuber fans that have a lot of topics to bring me. We've got tons of information. I'm not worried about legal problems in the world, because as we go on, people tend to get stupider and do dumber things. Not to mention, there's a lot of US streamers that are making a fool of themselves. Shout out to Grandpappy Atozi. I mean, he manages to cover a lot of those all the time. I mean, Jack Doherty, we're going to come up on Wes Watson. We're going to cover that one, probably the trial when that comes on my channel here. Lots of stuff to cover. I am never worried about it. I do not lose sleep at night. In fact, one of the things I'm having trouble with is having too much to cover, which is a good problem. King Luja for 15 Malaysian ringgit says, I don't attack others by their looks. They shouldn't attack me when my looks. No, I agree. But once again, and to be fair point, but understand that that's what these people do. That's what they engage in. It's just ad hominem. But beyond that, forget about the looks. The behavior is what's actually disgusting. The guy could look like Brad Pitt. The behavior is not justified. It really isn't. Christy Spring is a new member. Welcome. Mr. Alex, 789 for 10 New Zealand says, I just want to say at some point, these Nuisance streamers will be in for a huge wake up when they find out one of them ends up dead or in the hospital requiring surgery. Now, of course, I do not promote violence or anything like that. However, in certain places, things will happen. Try going to certain places with certain people and messing around, and things are going to happen. I know I've traveled to many countries, many countries. There are certain times where I have known if something went down, somebody could be dead. I could be dead. Other people could be dead if we cross certain lines. So you stay on the right side of the line. There's places that you can go where the law is a little loose and things can happen, and maybe no one's going to find out about it for a while because it's really remote and nobody's there and the police aren't going to find you, right? These people, I think, will get to a point where one of them does go around, mess around, and there's consequences. Lyra Sika says these people can't do Macho Man Act in their own countries. They do it overseas. Exactly. I mean, I don't know whether he's Korean or American, but, either in Korea or America, he probably wouldn't act like that. Zora Zephyr says, haven't been able to catch the last 3 streams. Hi. Hey. Sir Jack 582, remember 14 months. Thank you. Brandon says, are you going to cover that guy in Mesa who sprayed poison in the supermarket food? Yes. When I have some time, I've been looking into that. I try to do research before my stream. So if it's a topic I haven't covered yet, I need to do a lot of research for that. So I'm going to look into that. Raby says, I know there's a phase the customer is always right, but it's not justification for harassment, destruction, and breaking the law. They have twisted that quote for their own game. We need it changed. It's just a quote. It's not the law. The these stores and places are not your slaves. You are there because they let you be there. They can kick you out. They can fully kick you out. That's 100% their right. Go Fast Now, remember, for 1 month, says watching it live on my train ride to work. Thankfully, no Nuisance streamers. Awesome. Casper Hansen says for 89 Danish krona, honestly, I've seen that dude was lucky that there wasn't a bouncer. I mean, even here in Denmark, he would have been potentially picked up by the cops. Yeah, he's very, very lucky. He's very lucky. If he was in a situation like Gino was, where the bouncers and security came up, I think it would be a different story. Yelling at them like that and telling them to shut up, you don't do that. Christy Springer said exactly. For 50, it's an Aussie. Crikey. Bind Purple and Green says, love the content, Legal Mindset. That dude, bro, who is attending the entertainment district, has a multi-furrowed monobrow, which is somehow 3 times more flabby eyebrows than his 5'10" physique. Well, there's probably a reason why he was kicked out even from there, right? Unhinged Valkyrie for £2 says for the swear jar. And Cold Acid for 10 Canadian says the customer is always right in manners of taste is the full quote. It's just that people started intentionally ignoring it's about personal taste, not anything else. Exactly. Look, the customer is right when it comes to choosing Budweiser versus Coors versus, Corona, right? They get to choose that. But they don't get to tell you how to run your business, and they don't get to tell the staff that they're less. That's not acceptable. Akai Suki for 50 said, excited for Nolan, a small army of lawyers finally getting the crack Kata footage. Yes, if the Nick Rekieta body cam footage comes out, I have said that is the one thing I will cover. I will do a full commentary of that one when it comes out. That's something that is legal, so I would cover that. Yes, that would be something I would cover. Kind of the end of the saga, because that's kind of the last little bit of legal stuff we've been waiting for. And I, signed documents supporting the release of that information and the publication of that trial. So I've got some skin in that game. Stygian VDA 1994 for €11 says, since Johnny has his Discord fans busy in intimidating people like Bong Bong and creating evidence for his attempted case against you, could he get a case for leading a criminal organization? Possibly. What he is doing is essentially RICO. It's essentially RICO. He's conducting a criminal enterprise and leading them to engage in various activities which are indeed illegal. Bong Bong will testify. She's not going to step down. And also, the man who is behind the deepfake is going to testify as well. We may even play his interview. It's an interview I haven't released, but I may play it because this is very relevant for the deepfake. Artemis says, customers are idiots, honest and not wrong. Fitty Tucker says, no disrespect, genuine question. I heard that in Thai. Oh, yeah, no, can't talk about that. But yes, that would be true. Cat Informer for 5 says, as an American who is currently living in Asia, no one IRL has ever mentioned streamers, so don't worry. They do mention tariffs a lot, though. Yes. I have not run into any Nuisance streamers myself. So, yes, that is indeed true. If you go around in Asia, you're not going to find Nuisance streamers. You do find some streamers, but they're generally respectful. A lot of the content creators I run into are travel people, are doing food blogs, are doing street tours, and they're being respectful and quiet about it. As long as you're quiet and respectful, it's fine. Most people have no problem with that. There's a great content creator, he has very positive Mark Vine over here. He does great food content. Everybody loves that. There's nothing wrong with going out and creating a video about delicious pad kapow or whatever, cow soy, whatever you like, somtam, whatever. You go out and around the streets and you're making a food blog, or you're over in Korea and you make a video about good takgalbi, whatever, samgyeopsal. Nobody's going to stop you from filming that. That's still going to be allowed. The problem is when you're also creating a nuisance, an obstruction, you're fighting people, that's when there's going to be problems. Silbury says, the customer is always right in matters of taste, nothing else. They have to pay and they have to behave. Learn the fur quote, y'all. And Cryosite says, Cryosite Suyaneko says, do you think it is within the scope of the Somali conviction team to fund security for Bonbon? Can we donate that sort of thing? If she asks for it, I don't think she needs it, guys. She will be fine at the courthouse. I can tell you this. We'll make sure she's fine at the courthouse. Johnny and Hank, first of all, just so you guys know, Johnny and Hank hide from everybody at the courthouse. They hide, and at the last second, they run in the courtroom. They are the ones who are scared. They're extremely fearful. So they're the ones that are hiding from everybody. They're fearful. Hank gets extremely mad. He puffs up like a puffer fish, which, by the way, delicious food. I do love puffer fish, but nothing is going to physically happen to Bong Bong. Then that's not going to happen. What is happening that's a problem is online harassment, which is serious and is a problem. But we're going to submit all that evidence to the judge, the prosecutor, so they're going to have that evidence and be able to use it as an aggravating factor against Ramsey to make sure he receives the maximum punishment. So with that said, guys, that is what I have for today. A little bit of a shorter episode, but not still, I think we had some meat on the bone here, guys, and we're going to have some more to come in the future. We got definitely more for Somali. Going to have some interviews with people, as I said, going to have some more information coming out. We'll have some recaps of the charges as well, other stuff like that. But until next time, stay based, guys, because you know what Johnny and Hank are doing tonight.
You are coping the seething. You just can't believe what you're seeing. It's you coping the seething. The truth it is all day, and now you are more than